Welcome everyone everywhere to the Elite Thinking Club. I'm Chris Jules Julian and I'm joined tonight by my co-host Liz Michael and a special guest Karishma. How you doing, guys?
Woo!
Yeah, hello.
All
All
good,
good.
yeah? Oh, I love this so much. I love it when we get a special guest on the show because you know what? What we're all about at the Elite Thinking Club. It's a podcast dedicated to critical thinking. And critical thinking is the analysis of facts to form a judgment to is complex, which includes the rational, skeptical, and unbiased analysis or evaluation of factual evidence. Critical thinking is self-directed, self-disciplined, and self-monitored, and self-corrective thinking. It presupposes assent to rigorous standards of excellence and mindful command of its use. It entails effective communication, problem-solving abilities, as well as a commitment to overcome native egocentrism and sociocentrism. So, simply put, you cannot change anything unless you're willing to understand it, and you cannot understand it unless you're willing to explore it. A good debate doesn't get ugly. We may talk of things that make people feel vulnerable. Beliefs held sacred may be challenged because of life experiences, but we're not trying to make people wrong or to incite riot, but simply explore. So welcome to the Elite Thinking Club and welcome our special guest, Karishma. How you doing, girl?
Hi, I'm amazing, thank you. How is everyone?
Yeah, we're
We
good.
are
We're
good.
really
We're all the
good.
better for seeing you.
Yeah, for real. Check this, just glowing, man. You got the glow. You got the glow. You know, when you see them happy girls, I got the glow.
I literally just finished it. I promised my TikTok followers that I'd do a live stream of how I put makeup on my eczema and TSW face day, which is why I'm all made up right now. So
Well, you look stunning. I'm not even
We
joking.
are
I'm sure
not
there's viewers.
complaining.
Yeah,
I love it. It's like we've got a mermaid on here.
for real.
Love
Like, I got
it.
to pick my jaw off the floor. Look, I just want to let everybody know, guys, you can follow Karishma on TikTok. I'm glad you mentioned that because, like, you've got a good fan base on TikTok, Instagram, everywhere you are. Just we'll put a few links of the description in the description, even to your blog. So, guys, definitely go and click follow on Karishma's socials. Yeah, but then also stay tuned because we're going to be talking about like what it is that attracts so many people to you, other than obviously your beauty. Let's talk about how do you get that glow. Now this is what I discovered. Like, obviously I found you on TikTok, right? And I was like shocked because it was like I almost saw a different person. I was like, wait a minute, is that the same girl? And I had to double check, right? It's because you have a very rare skin, well, say rare skin condition. You have a skin condition that most people wouldn't even know is a skin condition. So like, what is it? Eczema and TSW, right?
yeah,
And
eczema and TSW.
and because of your confidence in that, it gives other women the confidence, other people, even men, the confidence to be like, here's a young lady who's, dealing with this stuff and living with this. I am dealing with it, living with it, and like empowering other people to be like, you know what? Like, I'm not gonna tell your story for you. I'm just amazed by what you're doing. And if you're new to Karishma, obviously guys, just hit the like, hit the follow, hit the subscribe and follow her and tune in because like tonight's episode is all about her. So I'm still in the limelight here. What am I doing, man? I need to take a seat. Yeah, for real. Shut up, Jules, and let Karishma speak. All right, look. Okay, look, Karishma, speak. Go ahead. Tell everybody where you're from, why you're doing what you do. I love it. Go ahead. Explain
Yeah.
who you are. Yeah.
Let me just start off with a quick, simple introduction then. Obviously my name's Karishma. I'm 28. I've suffered with eczema since I was 2 years old, and TSW, which stands for Topical Steroid Withdrawal, since I was around 14, 15, it started. Yeah, basically.
So obviously, okay, so yeah, I mean, the eczema isn't just on patches of your body, is it? It's like your whole body is
Yeah,
like I was saying.
so with my eczema, it started just in the joints. So these are the main places that people end up having eczema. These are the most common places. It's all your joints. It's all the bits where the skin can't really where it moves around a lot, because you're always like, wherever your joints are, you're moving them like the most out of the rest of your body. So this is where it gets irritated the most. So yeah, it was on my joints mostly. Growing up with eczema, I can't say that I had that much of a hard time with it because it was quite mild. It was places where I could hide it with my clothing and no one would really ask or say anything about it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that much of an issue for me, just really in myself when I was at home itching and stuff. but
Right.
to say like from an outside perspective, it didn't really have that much of an effect on me until the TSW started, really, when I was 14, 15. Now, you get topical steroid withdrawal from steroid creams. Steroid creams are given to you to help with eczema. It's there to control and get rid of your eczema. But for a lot of us, unfortunately, it ends up giving us this whole other chronic skin condition, which is topical steroid withdrawal. It ends up thinning your skin within 2 weeks. So my skin has become so damaged and thin to the point where it's starting to, it doesn't heal its skin barrier quick enough. Like the skin cell doesn't reproduce as quickly as it should.
Right.
So that's why you end up getting TSW from the
Right.
thinning of the steroid creams.
Yeah.
So it's almost
So-
like the medicine they gave you for the ailment actually caused you another serious
Yeah.
issue, you know,
So
which
precisely.
you often find sometimes with these medicines. I actually had eczema as a child. I had it on my elbows.
Mhm.
I used to get patches like on the back of underneath my knees,
Yeah.
and it was really, really sore, really, really dry. And I remember they gave a massive pot of this like emollient cream for it, and I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. I didn't like the smell of it. Yeah, I didn't like it. Didn't like the smell of it. And yeah, that's what I had. Yeah. But luckily, it was just a few patches, like you say, in the sort of joints and stuff. And yeah, it kind of went away. I didn't have it much. But I do find that I do have quite dry skin. And I do think that like my mum used to put that cream on me. She'd like really, you know, slap it on, and I used to just not like it. And I did always used to feel like it would dry out that area more. So I cannot imagine having that all over my body, because just the little patches that I did have, that I experienced as a child, was irritating enough, and sore as well, you know. So I used to love climbing trees and stuff, and it used to kind of, you know, you scrape it on the bark and stuff. It's like it's horrible. Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Well, that's the thing, because of the TSW, where I only had it on my joints like yourself, it basically ended up spreading, which is why it ended up being on 90% of my body. I was covered from like head to toe. I think the only parts that were clear was the lower half of my back. That was it. Everywhere else was completely covered in oozing, peeling, bleeding, flaking skin. Yeah.
Okay,
and
so
the cracks as well, you get like cracks as well, don't you? And it's really sore because you know it's like it cracks, and then you've got the blood there, and it's horrid.
on a scale of like 1 to 10 then, or 0 to 10, like 0 being like zero pain, but then 10 being excruciating pain, because this is covering 90% of your body. I only imagine it like a burn. Like obviously we don't live with the condition you do, and this is why we're on the because you talk a lot about this on your lives, and you know you've got a lot of people following you who also have the similar conditions, don't they? I'm just asking because you know you obviously live it, you know it. Like on a scale of 0 to 10, how painful is it to live with? Like, let's say, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I hope that come across right. How, like,
yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I don't know if I can scale it, because
is it different for like physically and mentally?
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I would say when you have your flare-ups, the first day when you're like your skin is starting to react or starting to revert a little bit, I would probably say it's not really a pain thing. It's more of, it's all in your head. Like you're going through PTSD again, because you're reliving the cycle again for a flare. So it really depends on how bad the flare is as well. I've recently just started coming out of a flare about a few days ago. I think I'm on day 6 of like coming out of a flare.
I've been following you. I've been seeing the daily updates.
I've put it down to I had too much soya the week before. So I had a lot of soya in fried rice. I had it in like sushi and stuff. So I think it was a slow reaction and my face kind of just ballooned. I got such a bad reaction, and I haven't had one like that in months. I think I haven't been like that since last summer. So I had such a good few months of being controlled, and then because I accidentally had too much soil one week, yeah, I'm going through like this whole flare up. So I would say like the first few days, like mentally 10.
Yeah. Jesus. Does it feel like burned? Does it feel like your skin's on fire?
Yeah, it does. It feels, a lot of it feels like it's on fire, and it also feels like someone's sticking needles in you at times, like constantly just sticking like little
Yeah.
needles in you. Yeah.
Do you get affected by the elements like the cold and the heat? Because I remember obviously I didn't have like to the extent that you have, but I remember going in the bath when even like my mum had put the cream on, but
Yeah, Jesus, that
it
must be
was
painful.
like
Yeah.
it was like someone was putting an iron on all the cracks, like in the dry patches. It literally felt, and I was like, oh, I can't get it. So I remember the water, and even then when the cold water was put on it, it was just like, I don't want anything touching me. I don't want the cold air blowing on it. I don't want hot air blowing on it. I don't want the water. Like so if it's because your skin, it's our biggest organ, isn't it? So you literally, like, what do you do when you have those flare-ups? And because you've got makeup on now, but can you put makeup on it? Can you literally not touch it? Or
personally, I've gone through my stages of growing up and still wanting to put makeup on it to cover up and go out. Nowadays, not so much. I leave my skin to be just for a few days until I can start putting it on properly again. But the weather changes most definitely. I have the worst time during the winter. The winter months are the most awful for me. It's not only just because of how cold it is outside and how much it's drying and taking moisture from my skin. I'm also getting moisture taken from central heating inside the house. So I'm not
Yeah.
can't win. You
outside and I'm
literally
not
can't
going
win.
inside.
Yeah, it's horrid.
Mate. I saw a video that you put on the TikTok, and yeah, you did this thing. I was actually, I agreed with totally. It was like a satisfying itch, like a satisfying scratch. You were proper like going at your neck, like really, and you could see it on your face. Like you were so happy. Don't get me wrong. It's like a sadistic like pleasure. It's like I know I should stop, but I can't because it's that itch. Do you know what I mean? I've done that. I've done it to the point where I've made my skin bleed. Like I've scratched so bad, but I still keep going because it's just like you know what I mean? Like
is it like when you put a earbud in your ear and you're like you turn into this weird creepy like animation person.
Honestly,
I do
the
anyway.
satisfaction from it is just, yeah, it's just next level. I think because people don't realize like it is literally uncontrollable. So to sit there and tell me to not itch, I'm sorry, I can't. My mind and my body and my hands are, they're all doing their own thing at this time. Nothing's listening to me. I can't tell myself to stop because it's so uncontrollable. And it's literally that word. I think people forget it's literally uncontrollable. I'm not just sitting here to do it because it's pleasurable and it's like giving me a bit of relief. Like I don't want to do this. This is not fun for me. So yeah.
So is it something that you will have forever, or is it something that they can like can they sort of work out with your food, or is there like a more natural ointment that you can use? Is there you just got to live like it forever?
So this question is always an interesting one to answer because there are so many factors to it. Because even in the things that I do with the products that I promote and the stuff that I put into my body, what works for me is not always going to work for someone else.
Absolutely.
Everyone's skin journey is so completely different. Everyone reacts so completely different to external and internal things. So they medically say that eczema is a chronic skin condition, so you're supposed to have it forever. But there have been people in the community, TSW and eczema world, that have been able to cure both their TSW and eczema through
Wow.
eating habits. So a lot of people that have turned vegan and
Wow.
completely changed their eating habits have completely gotten rid of it.
That is amazing. That
so-
is
I
amazing.
wasn't going to say nothing. I wasn't going to say nothing, but I think I should now. Yeah. I had eczema like when I was younger, but I don't think I had it as bad as you, because I'm not even going to come on here and pretend like, oh yeah, I've had eczema. I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I had dry skin, and I'm not going to say it's eczema. So rare tear tear. However, I did find that, like, I'm vegan, right? You know that. And I would eat dairy, like a lot of cheese, and then my skin would react very, very, like, I would have a reaction. I'm not sure if that's got anything to do with having eczema, but I hear when you say that people's skin is different. Now, since being vegan and that, I'm not even going to lie to you, my skin is a lot better. And I have had people say that. Now, I didn't know if that had something to do with it, but I just wanted to hear your side of things. And do you find that, because you ate too much soya, or what you think, it could be, that's what caused your flare up? Do you feel like maybe that, talking about diet and in relation to your skin, that's probably one of the biggest things that impact normally the...
Honestly, most definitely, because like we said, that your skin is your biggest organ on the body, so everything that you're putting inside is eventually going to come outside and show on your skin. So I do think it is a big factor and a big difference, because it is an autoimmune disease. Our immune system is already compromised anyway, so we do have to be a bit more careful with what we're putting into our bodies, what we're putting onto our bodies. Even things like material. I can't wear wool. Wool irritates the shit out of my skin, so I have to avoid all wool products. But when it comes to food, most definitely I've cut out dairy quite a lot, apart from cheese. Cheese is the hardest thing for me to cut out at the moment.
You sound like Michael.
Michael, honestly, I love a good piece of cheese. Like, the vegan stuff just doesn't taste the same. I don't want anyone to tell me any different right now. It doesn't.
I have to agree
Michael
with
loves,
you on that.
he's called his cat cheddar.
I'm not a cheese lover. I'm not a cheese lover. I don't eat cheese. I never liked it as a kid. And I have to say, I have tried, out of just saying to people, my friends and whoever, that I've tried it, I have tried the vegan cheese, and I don't even like that, even as much as normal cheese. I don't like either. So, like, keep your vegan cheese, keep your normal cheese, keep your moldy cheese, keep it all away from me.
Anti-cheese.
I got a question.
Yeah, I am anti-cheese.
Yes, Michael. Welcome to the chat, Michael. We know now. Gear yourselves. Michael's got a question. Gear yourselves.
Can we all just give Michael a big clap, a round of applause for his amazing T-shirt? Who is?
Come on, let's go. We love. No, but welcome to the chat. Go on, Michael. Let's hear
it. Would your condition be better in a wetter country? In a wet country, like there where there's a little bit more
humid.
Humid.
Humidity and stuff. So I personally find that when I'm back in Mauritius,
yes. Wait, hold on a minute, Mauritius. Yeah.
This is your body telling you need to be back in Mauritius.
back to my roots. 100%.
I'm like a freezing icicle every day, and I think that's my body saying, "Get back to California."
Yeah, seriously. for real. Honestly. The wind hits my skin, and we had a comedian on the show called Darren. He's got a joke about this. He said the wind is so bad in the UK, it sounds racist. It even blows past me saying, "Go back where you came from," and I'm like freezing.
Go home.
Hey, if you want to watch that episode, check Darren's episode. He's a quality comedian. We had him on this thing, but for real, Michael, that's a really good question. Karishma, the weather? Do you think you'd be better if back in Mauritius? Where the conditions are.
I keep telling Pretty Patel to send me back home right now, because yes, 100%. The weather is so much better back home. My skin, I'm honestly glowing so much more. The only issue with that I found is if I over sweat, that's when my skin becomes irritated. But apart from that, like, my skin is at its ultimate best when I'm away in warmer humidity countries.
That's because
again, for
DNA.
other people, the hot weather doesn't coincide with them at all, and they prefer the winter. So again, it's very.
So it isn't to do with DNA at all. It's just whatever your skin is, really.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Because I was about to think that
to the individual.
Because I've got a theory about DNA. Like, I seriously believe that what is running through your bloodline, literally, if you went back a few thousand years, forget few thousand years, go back a few hundred years, let's say 500, 600 years. If you go back to how you were living back then, because you've evolved to be that, and now in a short space of time, in 100 years, you're forcing yourself to be something else. My DNA is not used to eating shepherd's pie. Let's get it right. Like, I wouldn't be eating that. Do you know what I mean? But now I do. And then there's all these other dishes that I'm eating that I wouldn't actually be eating if I was where I've developed. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I thought there was a correlation between that and the weather, but now obviously what you're saying is no, because in the TSW community and the eczema community, there are people of maybe ethnic origin and they prefer the colder weather. So who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe
it's really so specific to the individual, which is why, like, as much as I like to say, like, yeah, this, that, and the other, like, it really just does depend on trial and error. Like, a lot of our journey is trial and error for everything, from what we eat, what we wear, what we're putting on our faces, where we're going.
How do you get on, like, in the sea? Do you go into the sea like when you were back in Mauritius? Or because I know I personally react to things like chlorine if I go to swimming pools. But like in my garden I have a hot tub, but I use the non-chlorine eco tablets, to go in the water. And it doesn't affect my skin. I'm fine with it. But the chlorine and stuff I find will dry my skin out, and I get itchy after.
That's a good question. Do you go to swimming pools then? Yeah, Karishma, what's it like? Is it a no-go area, swimming pools and stuff?
So I used to swim for my county back in the day growing up. I used to be a swimmer and a runner. And it was really irritating to my skin. The chlorine used to have me sitting in the locker room right afterwards, just for 20 minutes. Everyone's already packed up and gone home, and I'm still there, like, at it, trying to get changed. Honestly, like, swimming, chlorine, all of that. Even just like for washing my clothes, my mum has to use different washing tablets like you use for your hot tub, because if she uses what she uses for them, my skin is just like, no thank you.
I hear that. All right. I want to talk about some of the good stuff you're doing, right? So let's talk about how you are being, if you will, acknowledged as a leader of the community. Is that fair?
I don't know if I want to say.
I know, but you are like a big advocate for, like,
come on,
you're very pretty, and you give the girls power. Like, and I say not just girls, like, both, everyone with eczema and TSW, but you are empowering a lot of people to be comfortable in their skin, because you turn up. You show up. You're not going to allow it to get in the head. You're not going to allow maybe, like, other people's views and what beauty is meant to be to dictate, like, how you're supposed to feel. And I think a lot of women love that because they need them sort of leaders. You get what I'm saying? Like, is that fair to say?
Standing in your truth. Standing in your truth.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree. Honestly, like, we live in such we live on such an online world now where everything is airbrushed and photoshopped, and everyone's just putting out the best pieces of their life and behind closed doors. Like, everyone's going through it. Like, we've all had to suffer with COVID for the last 2 years. Everyone went through it. No one had a happy-go-lucky time. So I think just like, honestly, in the last few years, just really sitting there and realizing that this skin that's holding my body together, that's holding all my organs together, doesn't mean anything about my beauty. Like really realizing that it's about morals, like your morals, your values, the person that you are, like your personality, the kindness that you put out into the world, and the knowledge that you hold in your head. Like that is beautiful. Like this is gonna fade. Like this is already fading. Like it starts fading the day that you're born, you know. You don't stay youthful forever. So just really putting that into my mindset in the last few years, and constantly reminding myself has allowed me to be this way, I guess. Like I'm done with society's detrimental bullshit standards. Like honestly, I'm so done with it.
I heard a saying, and the saying was, where you find your tears, that's where you find your passion. And I feel like sometimes the life you were given was given to you because only you were strong enough to live it. So I'm just, like I say to you, like, I'm so proud and so happy to see someone like you giving power to, I've got a couple nieces, you know what I'm saying? They're younger, and like, I don't ever want them to feel like they're not good enough because they may have a, you know, a skin condition, or they may have, I don't know, like something, they don't feel like they can't be them true self. You got to be your true self, you know? And I love that you do keep shining that light. So thank you.
I got a question.
I don't know why. I love Michael so much. But I get nervous a little bit sometimes because
corner, isn't he? He's like that creepy weird man that comes on the corner.
This is Michael. I'll show Michael, isn't it? I got a question.
Yeah, I know.
Shit, who's that? No, okay.
We love you, Michael.
Right. It's going to sound like a weird question to begin with.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But
okay.
Sorry.
What sex was you born?
Huh?
I'm confused because it's the first guest that on her name it says she/her.
Oh, that's flipping hell, Michael. I thought you were gonna kill me, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Wait a minute. You're female, right, Karishma?
Yeah,
through.
I just want people to know my pronouns.
Okay, jeez.
Yeah, you're the first person to put their pronouns on it. So
fair enough. Do you see what I mean? He makes me nervous. He makes me nervous.
I thought, have you been drinking whiskey? Like, seriously.
But I won't replace him. I'll never replace him. Michael, I'm so glad that you're on the show. The Elite Thinking Club is for critical thinking. It is for critical thinking. If we're not exploring every flipping avenue and angle of things, then like, how else are we supposed to, get to all the answers? But no, thanks for clearing that up, Karishma. She's a female.
I am
female to female question. Boys, you can just, be quiet. Turn your ears off.
Okay.
So, how has this? It's obviously affected you mentally, as you spoke earlier, and being a woman, and embracing your sexy feminine side and everything. How has it made you feel or affected you with regards to like relationships and being intimate? Because I can imagine that must be a huge, or has. For some people, it's a huge barrier, because even growing up, when you first start sort of, getting involved with people, you already have that, oh, I want to turn the lights off, or I don't want them to see me, in my underwear or whatever. So I can't imagine how it must be on top of the normal, like, insecurities that we'll have, like to have that to worry about or affect you as well.
So definitely over like my teenage years when I was first going through it. And again, teenage years, you're starting to put yourself out there, you're starting to socially go out, realize your sexual orientation, all of this. So it was hard. It was really hard. I used to hide it under makeup a lot. I wouldn't really speak about it to anyone. And even with like the whole talking to boys, I wouldn't really do it just because I was just so self-conscious of myself. And I used to get bullied a lot for being a dark-skinned woman anyway, so that in itself was already like, I don't want to speak to men or women or anyone. I just don't want to do it.
Right.
So yeah, growing up, that was hard. Like I didn't really date, I didn't really speak to boys like that. But also growing up in a strict South Asian household, I didn't really have the chance or the leeway to, and I went to an all-girls secondary school and sixth form, so there wasn't really boys and men in my life like that anyway.
Did that make it easier, like going to an all-girls school, like so that you didn't have?
No, not really. No. Just because girls are going to be girls at that age. You know. So I guess it didn't add on to anything because it was already there. But it didn't really make it any easier. But again, even through the teenage years, like I didn't have it as bad until around like 18, 19 when I started going to uni. That was hard. That was harder than having to grow up through my teenage years, I think, for me personally, because I wasn't at home anymore. I wasn't in a strict household. I was living by myself for the first time. And 18, you're still a baby. And I really like to think we're adults at 18. We're really not. Like we're still chill. Like we're literally babies still. So I like went out into the world thinking like, yeah, I can do this. I'm an adult. And very quickly realized that a lot of the times I would miss lectures because I didn't want anyone to see how my skin was looking that day. I'd miss out on a lot of social events and stuff. Like I'd literally have my friends run into my room and force dress me to make me leave the house and go out with them because I was just like, I'm not leaving today. Like, no one's seeing this. They literally would come, they'd undress me, put my clothes on and drag me out of the house. So yeah, I think it wasn't until I started talking about it openly on social media that I really, and I've only really started openly speaking about it for the last 3-4 years. I'm 28 now. So
has that helped you in relationship wise? Like, has that helped you because you're now talking about it and obviously you're becoming, you know,
I think it has. So a lot of I was in a 6-year relationship a year ago now. It's been like a whole year since we broke up. I was in a 6-year relationship. And he was my best friend, so he helped me so much. Like he was my best friend before. Sorry, my mum's calling me.
It's all right. Yeah, you got to do it.
You can hear her in the background. I'm really sorry.
I can't hear your mum, but hey.
Yeah, we couldn't hear her.
Karishma's mum.
Hey. I can hear, so I don't know if it's coming through, but he really helped me through the 6-year period. Like I think if I didn't have him, I don't know where I would be with my dating life. Like he was honestly the best boyfriend I could have ever asked for at the time. He helped me so much through my TSW. He was really understanding, and I think we only got to that point because I was able to be so open and honest with him about how I was feeling, about showing him my skin. It was through just communication. And I think a lot of us forget that communication is like, it's so key to every relationship you have in your life. And
you obviously trusted him as well, to be that intimate and to be that open and showing, you know, that's a big thing. Massive.
I can imagine as well, like people viewing the show, and guys, like I said, if you haven't done so already, you start following Karishma because her journey is incredible, and I think that we've managed to find her so early on. I think you're going places, I really do, and you've got a lot of good things coming. I can tell because you've done a lot of magazines, a lot of shoots, and things are coming in there. You know, you're stepping into your light, and I love that. But what I was going to say is I think not just for the females as well, I mean for blokes as well, like there is guys out there who suffer with skin conditions. Let's not forget that. And I know, Liz, what you were getting at, asking her about her personal life, and Karishma, I thank you for sharing, but I also believe that you need to understand that there's people out there that it happens for both sides. There's some men out there that are real conscious about their bodies and skins and stuff, and but for you to find your person, people come into your life for a reason or a season. They're like angels, right? You don't know why they're there. They're just the right person. Couldn't have had them any other way. They were perfect the way they were. And then when their time's done, or when it's your time to grow and go, that's what you got to do. You got to grow and go. And anyway, shout outs to Karishma's guy that was there for her, helped her discover that and build the trust. Yeah, for real, because without you, she wouldn't be here today. So thank you.
No, honestly, he helped me so much. He did.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Talking about your modelling career. So
you know when you get nervous, I've got to help myself. Go on, Michael.
I get sweaty palms.
Liz, I do. I'm like, Michael's going to say
take
that.
my jumper off.
Right. So I looked at your Instagram and stuff and your TikTok, which made me ask questions to myself. So do you have hairy armpits for your modelling career, or is it personal issue, or is it because it hurts to shave?
I didn't know it was going to be about the hair. Okay, go on. Sorry.
I'm just asking what it is. Is it a personal reason? Is it for the modelling, or is it because it hurts to shave?
That's a good question, actually. Fair enough. Yeah, does it hurt to
Yeah,
shave?
that's actually a very good question. Personally, it's because I couldn't be bothered to shave anymore, Michael. I'm sick and tired of having to put a blade to my skin every day, especially as a South Asian woman, and it grows back within the hour. Yeah, I'm really not about to do that every single day. And I think lockdown actually helped with that, because
I was then going to say, was it because of lockdown? Because I got a bit hairy in lockdown. I had to buy a wax machine. Salons were shut, so I had to learn to do it myself. I literally trained myself into a beauty therapist in lockdown.
Michael, I do love you. I love you so much. That's I'm glad you asked that. So I'll back you on that. No, it's a good question. So I actually had an ex-girlfriend who done it. I weren't with her at the time, but I saw her later on down the line, and she was doing it too, like growing her armpit hair. And it was like this movement thing where, why are we forced to do this? This isn't something we are. We're meant to have it. Why are we not doing it? Do you know what I mean? But then, like, at the same time, I had to question, but in it for hygiene, like, isn't that why we do it? And then I said, but then why would men not do it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but then them same girls that don't shave their armpits and say we wouldn't have hair there are the same ones that would shave their legs and put makeup on. Well, makeup's not, that's not natural.
Yeah. But no, Karishma, you just said it's because basically you just couldn't be asked, right? It's lockdown.
Yeah, honestly, for me, there's if I don't want to shave that week and I want to be hairy and still wear a tank top, okay, cool. What is my armpit hair gonna do?
And you should. Why shouldn't you?
Yeah, honestly,
society can go.
Exactly. If men can do it, why can't we? Like, I don't understand the difference in that. It's also the hygiene thing is ridiculous, because again, men, like,
that's what I
would be unhygienic, so why is it any different if a female's doing it?
And we obviously give off different pheromones as well.
I just worry about, like, when I in lockdown, when the salons were all shut, I was like, hold on a minute. And like you say, like, I'm mixed race, and I literally, if I shave my legs, a few days later, I'm like, seriously? So, well, I wax now, because wax seems to make it, because it pulls the hair right out, it kind of makes it last longer. So
can you wax, Karishma, because of the skin?
Yeah, no, sometimes I can't.
Okay.
Because of the
sorry to cut you in, Liz. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. And it got to the point where, like, I was waking up and I had hair there, hair everywhere, literally. I started to feel a bit like a bear, and I was also like, I had feathers. I was collecting feathers. I'm not even joking. In places, I was like, how did that get entangled in there? I need to get this sorted. So I had to get some. I bought myself a machine and a hot wax, exactly the same as what the salon use. I was like, I don't need. They've lost a customer for life, because I've trained myself to do it. So
it can get lasered.
Like, I get crumbs like in my cleavage. I'm not even joking. I mean.
Well, learn to eat properly. Use your mouth proper.
I do, but literally, it's like the elements. I go outside and I'm collecting. I take my bra off at night, and it's like all this stuff hits the floor, and it's obviously not my boobs, but and I'm like, where did all this food come from? Like, if I go to the cinema, I'd get popcorn in there and everything. So it got to a point where I was like, I already have that collecting stuff. I can't have hair bits, like collecting feathers and stuff, so I had to get rid. But I understand. I did feel I think I'm going to do that. I did feel quite like natural and like normal.
Yeah, is that
I hate the word normal.
Is it because it's natural? Do you feel more?
I felt like this is how we're supposed to be. So when I was waking up in the morning, I could feel hair there and stuff, I was like, actually, what?
Well, you know what?
Warm?
Here's a quick question then. Yeah, because obviously I've got long hair. Like my locks are long now. They're like past my shoulders, and you know it's not looked at as feminine, and it ain't looked at as masculine. It's just that person's got long hair. And even if a woman has short hair, long hair, no one really. It's a thing that society's kind of accepted. So do you feel like what you're doing, Karishma, like, is in a sense that on the days you don't feel like doing it, why can't we just accept it? Why is it so? What's the big deal? Do you know what I mean? Because saying that, yeah, Elite Thinking Club. Let's go in on this one. Yeah, you like this one? Let's go back. I don't know who it was, but Henry VIII, the Tudor times, right? Men were back then wearing tights. Do you know what I mean? Men back then were wearing skirts, high heels. They even had wigs with long hair. So this whole like gender thing where, oh yeah, you got to shave your armpits because you're female. It's almost like, well, does that mean now that men don't wear high heels and tights because it's female? Whereas you go back to Tudor times, it was the thing.
I just think society needs to it's personal choice.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
if I wake up and I want to wax and I want to feel all smooth, so be it. If I want to be hairy, I'll be hairy. Like it should be. We just need to get out of that. Like we need to teach the next generation that it's just your choice, and it's just yeah.
Yeah, but you can't tell a person. We know this.
I know,
you can't tell a person.
I know.
You got to do it.
I mean,
you got to be the change you want to see. And I think, Karishma, that's what you're doing, isn't it? It's like if you're the change, if you start showing it, like, you know what, I'll do it, and that's why I do it.
But
you can't just say it.
It's a mindset and an attitude. And I think if there's children around you, and we're influencing, aren't we?
Yeah,
our attitude and our mindset is influencing by, if a kid says to you, oh, do I look funny with my hair up? No, just be free, be you. If you want,
but then you got to build character as well. If you tell the kid the lie, tell them the truth. No, you look stupid. Get out of here, you donut. Look at you.
Oh God, yeah. You can't just go around saying everything's perfect and shiny and wonderful. And when you step out of the door, the world is not a crazy, mad place.
Yeah.
No, you got to tell
them.
What I'm going. It's like, we've got to kind of unlearn that conditioning.
True that. Learn to be resilient
and care. Yeah, about society.
Karishma, did you ever think that you will become an influencer? I know it's a very popular like job title. You ask young people these days, what do you want to be when you grow up? They're like, I want to be an influencer. But like, did you ever actually see yourself doing what you're doing right now?
Not so much in the sense of maybe influencer, but I always get like, I don't know whether it was just like the little childhood diva in me, but I always had a sense of that I would be known for something, like
yes,
name out there for something, like be it eczema, be it whatever. Like I just knew like my name would be spoken around a few more times than it would be for the normal person.
I feel you on that. I
love that.
I love that as well.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, because you're not normal. No, but you're not normal. You're not in the pool of normal. You're extraordinary. Like you are.
I love that.
You know what I mean? It's the truth. You own it as well. You own it.
Normal.
Come on. That's it.
Huh?
But so, I love that you said not really to that answer, because I think the most influential people didn't necessarily set out to be that. So their natural energy, their natural calling was that is they are influential. So I was sitting in my when you were about to answer, I was like, please say no, not really, please, and you did. So
no, I'm just saying, no.
I don't care. I'll own it. I tell if I meet people and they say, "Hey, Jules, what you out to do?" I say, "I'm about to take on the world. Let's go." I'm not even scared. Don't even come at me with that negative shit. Yeah, 100%. I own that. I meet people sometimes to the point where my energy and energy kind of like trips them out, because it's just like, how you ain't got, like, to be honest, right? I step into a room, I haven't got to say nothing. People still know. I believe people in the world, you can't shut down greatness, even if you got like a skin condition, even if you like don't, you know what I'm saying? You can't pin a person that's supposed to be. Do you get what I'm saying? And I feel like it just takes that person though to recognize it in themselves, because one thing the world will do is tell you you're not good enough, like because of society's stigma and pointing fingers and all that. But that normally comes from the people who are the most insecure themselves, because they don't want you to go far. They'll try and make you stay on the same sort of level. Do you get what I'm saying? But Karishma, I'm glad that you just turned around and said, yeah, well, F you, like, fuck you, do you know what I mean? I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do, and you keep doing it because you got to do it. You know what I'm saying? Love that. Yeah, but Michael,
I still
great
think
question, by the
she's
way.
a secret mermaid. I'm waiting for him. I'm waiting for him to go.
I know.
Right.
I run out of questions.
Oh.
So we can relax, yeah? No. He's leading us to a full sense of security. Yeah, he's like, no, I'll make them calm down. I'll make them relax. And he'll say, oh, I've got one more question.
Sounds like the government.
Yeah, for real.
I was going to ask, like, how, like, it affected your family, like, and your mum, like, because I know with my family, you know, when there's been something wrong and you have to go to hospital and you have to have tests and stuff, it is very worrying. And yeah, and I just wondered how it sort of affected them, and if they've been really supportive and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't worry about their children? My mum's constantly worrying about me all the time. Even on the days where I'm fine, I'm good, she's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm good, family. Like, honestly, I'm fine. Yeah, so she's honestly always worrying about me. It was pretty hard for her, especially when I was going through the work, when I had it like all over my body, because it was even to the point where I couldn't walk. I was bedbound for a few days because the cuts on my legs were just so sore and oozy and bleedy that I couldn't even go downstairs. I had to stay up on the top floor. So that in itself, you know, she's already working, she's already got, so I'm one of two, she's got my brother to think about and my dad. They're not the youngest of spring chickens anymore as well, so you know, it's a lot already. I think to see, and I think I try to, just being the daughter that I am, try to hide a lot of my emotions to make sure she's less worried about me.
You're a little warrior, aren't you? Like, seriously, to endure that sort of, like, people, you know, we don't hear your story, and I'm so glad you're here sharing it, because, you know, to put ourselves in your position, right? And then to say, you know, the bleeding and the cuts and that, I think of that for like 5 seconds and I'm in pain. Obviously, you endure that for like 5 days. Like, this is not a you know what I mean? It's just, you're a little warrior. And obviously, you're very petite. Like, I know that doesn't mean anything, but you're just a fragile, like, do you get what I mean? I see you in your, yeah, like, I don't want to put you down like that, but I mean, like, you can't help but care, man. I get really, like, your mum must be like, do you get what I'm saying? I hope I'm saying it right. I don't even have the words to articulate what I'm saying, which is rare for me, but I'm trying to say that you are a big, powerful person, right? In a very small, petite, feminine body. And I just like, it doesn't matter what I see with my eyes, because I can, what you're going through is like, you're hardcore, man. Like, you are hardcore. You know what I'm saying? You're one of the hardest people I've ever known or ever met.
Shakespeare once said a quote, "Though she be but little, she is fierce." That is
yeah, I've definitely heard that quote before still.
And your mum your mum must have wanted to take it all away from you, and it must have been really frustrating for her, bless her. So
yeah, I mean, it's actually, they've only really, like I said, like, my social media really spun off a lot for me, especially in opening the eyes of my mum and dad to see how it really is, because I was so good at hiding it from them for so long, so they wouldn't worry about me, and so I wouldn't put more worry into what they've already got to go through. So it wasn't until like I started speaking about it and they'd watch all my little like things that I did here and there with brands and collabs. My dad even sat there and he started crying at me. My dad's not really a crier, you know, the big men in the family, they don't cry. He sat there and he started crying, and he was like, I didn't realize this is what you have to go through, because it's always my mum looking after me. My dad's kind of like, you know, the breadwinner, they do all the dad stuff, that type of stereotypical stuff. So yeah, it wasn't until he actually watched my videos and watched me speaking, he was like, you're in my own house and I don't realize that you're feeling like this, like, that's mad. And like, yeah, it kind of all, for them to understand and really get it, like, has only really started coming about the last couple of years. But they're so supportive, they've always been so supportive.
I love that technology has done that for you, for your family. That's such a positive from technology, that your dad's been able to basically know you better, know your journey more through you putting it out into the world to help other people and to speak your truth. That's amazing. That's
exactly
that's such
that. I mean, if it hadn't
have
been for technology, I would never have seen. Excuse me, I would never have seen you. And now I'm very grateful that I do, because I follow you now, and I love this daily the updates anyway. I love the stories. I know you're always live as well. I'm on TikTok. I see you, and I'm like, she's live. You know me. I just drop a few comments, don't I? Send a rose, and then I'm out. But you know, it's just nice to see you doing that. So yeah, if you haven't done so already, you need to subscribe and follow Karishma on all of her socials to keep up. Yeah, sweet.
How often do you do it, Karishma? Like, are you on there?
Every day. Every time I'm on TikTok, she's on live. I'm like, oh my God. No, one time, I'll tell you one time, I must have gone to sleep here at about like 10:30. I said, all right, you know, and that. Then I woke up in the night. It must have been about 4 a.m. and she was still on. I was like, what are you doing? I even said in there, said, go to sleep, go to bed.
Okay. Number one, it's not every day. It's like every other day. And number two, sometimes I can't sleep because of my skin, so I'm up quite a lot during the night. And what else is there better to do than?
Fair enough. Well, it was nice to see you. It was nice waking up 4 a.m. Christmas Day. You know, it's all good. Right, like I said, if you aren't following her already, you definitely should be, guys, and keep following, because of her journey has pretty much just begun, to be fair. I mean, you know, you got a lot of things coming up. I know that you said to me, I can't say nothing on here right now. I said, that's cool. Loose lips sink ships. Don't say nothing. Let it be what it's gonna be, and then when it happens, it happens. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to keep up to date with Karishma, I'm telling you guys, follow her on TikTok, follow her on Instagram. I put the link to her blog on the description in this video, and if you haven't done so already as well, which you should have done by now, hit the subscribe button to the Elite Thinking Club as well. Michael, Liz, is there anything else you want to say to Karishma before we say goodbye?
Just thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing your story, and I wish you the best.
Love that. Liz?
Just thank you, and I've learned a lot. So thank you, and keep going, keep doing it.
I will do. Thank you. No, thank you for having me. I've had a really good talk. It's been nice.
Well, I'll tell you what, if it's okay with you, can we check back with you in a year's time? We'll get you back on the show and see what's happened from now till then.
Yeah, of course. I'd love that.
I love that.
Brilliant.
All right. Well, if I wake up tonight at 4 a.m., I'll see you on the live.
No.
I'm going to be asleep.
On a serious one. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for being here for us at the Elite Thinking Club. This is our special guest, Karishma. Again, follow her if you haven't done so already. And Liz, Michael, guys, thank you again for being on the episode and show, as always. So from me and everybody here at the Elite Thinking Club, everyone everywhere, peace and love.
Bye.